Canadian governments had failed to stand up for fundamental human rights, according to the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. When governments do not...
If the Prime Minister wishes to invoke a state of emergency, we need to change our game too. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom was created for the purpose of protecting the citizens of the country from abuse by government. To this end, when the Charter is being superseded by the government, they have to legitimize its authority. To satisfy this test, proof of the truth must be made in court to prove a pandemic exists. Until proven, this is an alleged pandemic. This is what we've been told by civil rights lawyers. This is what they are encouraging us to do. This is now our strength and should be the only thing we focus on. For the Prime Minister to provide proof that a pandemic exists. The Prime Minister will now have to gather all his pawns, the doctors he's paid off. Either they will get caught in their lies, confess, or disappear. It matters not. We all know there is no evidence. There is also a silver lining to this. This requirement of proof releases all police and military from being political prisoners to the government and the media. A police officer takes their orders from the Criminal Code of Canada, which means that they must have reasonable and probable grounds before they can enforce the law or make an arrest. Just like Justin Trudeau will have to prove that there was a pandemic before he starts forcibly moving people. Anything other than this is political agenda. Until the government does not have proof of pandemic, it is unlawful for them to enforce any laws relating to it. And until then, it is definitely unlawful for the government to use law enforcement or the military to make these unlawful arrests. With this approach, we release our police and the military from being held hostage by not only the government, but her media as well. We've all seen it in the faces of officers on the street. No one can deny the inner conflict they must be enduring. We must put everything else aside and be unified in the demand of proof of pandemic. Police are bound by the Criminal Code of Canada. That is their Bible, and Justin Trudeau is not their boss. Being unified and robotic in our message will cover any objection or question that anyone may throw at us. When in doubt, revert back to the onus is on the government to prove that a pandemic exists. We need to get this out around the world because it pertains to all. Our truckers in the Entirement Freedom Convoy had the courage to get this movement started. It has been a protest that has already demonstrated such courage, sacrifice, peace, respect and love for our fellow man regardless of race, color, or creed. This movement has already succeeded in ending the mandates. Even though JT will probably try and take credit, we will hold the line. We need to change the narrative. This means we have to have solidarity in our message, and our message needs to be legal, leaving no room for misinterpretation or judgment. Our message for all our signs need to be very clear, using keywords such as Charter of Rights, government, provide proof, pandemic exists. We are sending out one message: show us the money, and by that I mean provide the evidence. We already have shown that we are peaceful and loving. Now it's time to show the government that we too can up our game. Let's continue to be peaceful, but let's be strategic, aware, ever vigilant. We know they're placing provocateurs in the crowd, little strategies like parking flatbed trucks full of rocks right in the heart of the protest. We have seen through it all. We must not become complacent. And so it is. Hold the line.